Welcome, Dave Capece. This is the, pre-launch version of a podcast that I haven't even got a name for yet. And you are currently sitting in a van in the middle of the desert, maybe. And seeing as you don't have anything better to do with your time, I figured this would be a great opportunity for us to jump on a call and do a podcast episode.
Absolutely. Welcome to my van, Andrew, and it's great to see you.
Thank you. So maybe we should, as a way of introduction, we should kind of explain how we know each other a little bit. I first met you in Reston, Virginia. You were, a bright young thing, just joined Metaswitch. How did you end up? How did you end up there? You're actually from Reston, is that right?
Well, that area? I mean, I am. I grew up in Northern Virginia, and I hadn't been there in a long time. I was lucky enough when I was moving across the country to take a temporary job with Bell South. I started the interview process with Metaswitch, and I think it was about a 2 or 3 month long interview process, and it was perfect because by the time my contract ran up, Metaswitch had made me an offer contingent upon moving to Reston, which was great to be back in Reston. And in fact, that's the best way to start because you get exposed to some of the legends of Metaswitch out of that office, like Steve O'Sullivan and Stuart Flower and those guys. And that was great. Long time ago, though.
It was a long time ago. And we worked together for, I don't know, quite a few years. Then I guess probably about 8 years, maybe 8 years at Metaswitch together, something like that.
Almost 9. Yep, almost 9 years. So I left in the summer of 2015.
Cool. Yeah, and during that period, there was a time when you had the displeasure of having to work for me, for which I apologize. And then the things kind of then came full circle because after you left, you started doing some consulting, if I remember right.
I actually like to touch on. I was sorry to interrupt, Andrew. I like to touch on what we did together because I actually bring it up quite a bit since I've left. So. Several different companies I've worked for, I've redone the commissioning process, if that makes sense, that we really took on when we were at Metaswitch. And I've used that same formula with a couple of different companies. And that's just, where we work together to figure out what is the best way to deploy a Metaswitch and what is the right order and how long does it take. And I felt like that team under your leadership with people like Pam and Rita, we were able to put our heads together and come up with, well, actually, this is a really great way. I mean, all of the accounts start with the same baseline, and then how do we build from there? And that was I think it was a great thing we did for Metaswitch, and I definitely have fond memories of the commissioning team.
Yeah, no, me too. I think that was probably my happiest kind of period of time working there. Just for me personally, I got obviously the team, as you say, it was a great team of people, but also I got a lot of joy out of taking a process that was ill-defined, shall we say, and very much each individual person did it their own way, and taking that kind of, that melange of ideas and turning it into something concrete and saying, we believe this is the best way to do it, and then creating that concrete edifice and then improving it as we learn more. And that was a lot of fun for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think we just got a lot better at serving our customers. I mean, it's a very stressful thing for the average telco to forklift an existing circuit switch and replace it. And having our act together, I think went a long way to getting those accounts started off correctly. So I'm really proud of my time at Metaswitch and made a lot of lifelong friends and learned a tremendous amount.
Cool. And then come 2015, actually 2015 was the year we both left. You left in the summer, I left in October 2015. And I think I took a little diversion where I played around with 3D printing and did some random other stuff that was nothing to do with telecoms. But you jumped into some consulting work, is that right?
I did. I mean, a lot of the salesmen at Metaswitch were very gracious when their accounts needed some support, needed the special kind of love that perhaps I can bring. They were able to supply me with a lot of great accounts. And honestly, I think it was an incredible experience to get to come in and help out those accounts. I did it for about a year. And then eventually one of the clients made me an offer, and eventually I ended up at Amazon, and haven't been working on a Metaswitch for a pretty long time now, probably 4 years at least. So it was a really good experience. And when I decided to take on a challenge and go work full time again for another company, I needed someone to take care of my accounts, and I've without hesitation been very happy to refer them your way, Andrew, over the years. And I think you and the team you've put together are really doing a great job, and can give them the attention that they really need.
Yeah, and that's very much kind of how Award Consulting was born, because at the time I wasn't really keen on doing consulting for, working in telecoms at all. I was trying to figure out something totally different. But then you showed me that actually, yeah, consulting was a lot of fun and a great way to, spend time helping people. And the thing I loved about consulting compared to support, because we both spent many years, doing customer support for a vendor, was that when you're a consultant, nothing's your fault. Like, it's not like you sold them this product and now it doesn't work and now you've got to help them fix it. Instead,
True.
someone's got a problem, they ask you for help, hopefully you help them, and then they are happy, and you just get gratitude. So from a kind of quality of life point of view, that's one of the things I've loved about consulting, is just that, the appreciation you get from the clients.
Absolutely. I think it's really important when you're doing consulting, and it's easier to do when you're not still tied or employed by that vendor. You can shoot very straight as a consultant, and it is your obligation, it is your duty to say, hey, this is the way it works. This edge is pretty sharp, I wouldn't touch it, and this is the best practice for utilizing it. I think the other thing is that a lot of what I did when I was doing the consulting was a lot of training and handing over the skill. So what I really informed everybody I work with is, I don't want to work with you for very long. My objective is to get you equipped so that you can manage your equipment. Now, sometimes there are environments where they may not be able to have a switch engineer full time, and it makes sense, and you can do that kind of consulting for them. But my aim was always to bring them up to my level, so that they can go independently make those decisions, and definitely a great experience.
Yeah, that is an interesting conflict that you potentially do have, killing the golden goose by helping the client to become too good at their own job. But
Sure.
yeah, it's what we found is it actually varies a lot by client as to what they want. There are some people where the structure of their team is they have people who can do the day-to-day stuff, and that's fine. But stuff that comes up once every 6 months, or just anything that's out of the ordinary, it's not worth them developing that set of skills because it's not coming up very often. And so for those, we are a continuous part of their team, and we just fill a expertise level within their structure. But you're right, other times, absolutely, you go in for a project and you want to set up a lab or something and then teach people how to use it so that they can then go off and be empowered. And it's different horses with different courses.
There was a school, we were trained how to provide support. It was a no-nonsense way of providing support. I remember at Metaswitch, Al Mitchell saying to me, hey, Dave, what have you done? How are things going with your customers? And I said, oh, it's going great. There's no bugs. There's no tickets that I can't fix. And he goes, that's not what I'm after. What have you done to make them successful with this platform? That's the bar. That's the measure. And I kind of said, well, wait, I'm used to, if I don't have a lot of tickets, that's enough. Well, that's not enough. You need to really empower the client with the tools that they need, so that they understand and they know the best practices to utilizing that technology. And that has absolutely, I'm stamped with that, and I can't get that out of me. I think if, I know things are a little different. They do a more of a pool type of support these days, but I think it's important for clients who need that dedicated touch. They may need to reach out to a consultant like your team.
Yeah, and I think that is the beauty of consulting is, our focus is entirely on the clients, right? They are the people who hired us. They will only continue to hire us if they're happy with the work that we do. And yeah, so that's entirely our focus, is a more holistic thing about their success.
Yeah, a lot of the shops that I've been working at since I left Metaswitch, they have, I've had to work very closely with customer success managers. I've been a technical account manager with a customer success manager on my team, with sales engineers on my team. When you get into supporting some of the largest enterprises in the world, I learned a lot, for example, at Blue Jeans on how they achieve satisfaction for large accounts like the Expedias and Nikes of the world. And that is day by day by day, they are analyzing everything they possibly can, from the end user experience all the way up through how does the IT manager and how does the IT director consume the product, and are they happy with the product, and can they go further with it. So I think in some ways that the Metaswitch model many years ago, and the way that we achieved support was a little bit ahead of its time, because it really was a customer success manager / technical account manager function.
Yep, all built into one, and ideally that one person was genius technically and great with customer relationships and good with project management, all in one person, if at all possible.
So one thing I want to bring up here, Andrew, really quickly, is I'm on 6% battery. I'm also sweating in here. Sorry. I'm on 6% battery because I don't have AC in the van yet. Like, I only have DC power. We could talk about power. I've learned so much about power from this van.
I want to talk about the van. We've talked about telecoms, which is fine, and but I want to talk about the van. Explain to me why it is that you are sitting in the van in the middle of in a van in the middle of November. What have you done? Have you become a nomad?
No, I have a condo back in Denver that I live in full time. I don't live in this van down by the river, if anybody was wondering. Hey, I work from home. I don't need a car. I had a nice 4Runner, great car, highly recommend it. But I have been dreaming of something like this for a very long time. And I was either going to build it myself, or if I could find this specific thing, I would buy it. And I bought it. So the idea with the van is that I will spend some weekends up in Wyoming and Montana and in the mountains in Colorado and down here in New Mexico, snowboarding.
Yep.
And this has heat. It will have AC. It will have solar eventually.
Cool.
And so I'm kind of working on those, and those will be some projects that I can do with my own hands. A little bit, we'll see. Yeah, so it's really just an adventure. It's also you need a 4x4 out in Colorado, and this is a 4x4, and so it kind of checks a lot of boxes. If I ever had to commute again, I'm going to need to get something practical. But
yeah,
this does the trick. It's pretty amazing, and you'll have to come check it out someday, Andrew.
Absolutely, no, that's very cool. All right, well, we took a little bit of a left turn there with the conversation, but hopefully that's okay for anyone listening, if anyone ever listens to this. Dave, before your battery runs out, I want to say thank you. This has been kind of fun. I'll go through and edit out all the parts where I sounded stupid, and hey, one day this might get published somewhere.